Hi, I'm Nat, and today I want to talk about one of the most dangerous Russian assets, which has just recently resurfaced, according to American media. He was spotted back in 2019 for the first time, and a lot of articles got written up about him, and then he kind of went dormant. However, now there's more articles popping up talking about this Russian asset. And I'm going to show you a picture of him, and I want you to be ready because he is pretty scary. Yes, indeed, the Russian asset and spy that they keep talking about is an adorable beluga whale. And his name is Hvaldimir, and he's been named after Vladimir Putin. Of course he has. And while I don't love the name for him, because he's adorable and probably not a Russian spy, well, here's the rest of the story and what happened all the way back in 2019. So in 2019, they spotted this adorable beluga whale floating around the coast of Norway, and he was wearing a little harness. And on that harness, there was a camera mount, which is why people keep saying that maybe he's a Russian spy. But not only that, on this harness, which is kind of like a dog harness, there was a little belt buckle that said Equipment St. Petersburg. But what does Equipment St. Petersburg mean? According to American media, it means that the Russians sent him over and stamped him before he left to let everybody know that their spy was Russian and where he came from. But after 4 years, American media doesn't seem to be able to do the minute and a half of research that I was able to do on Google, and where I found out that Equipment St. Petersburg is actually a mountaineering and camping equipment company from Russia. So the most probable story, not that he's a Russian spy, but rather that maybe some idiots made a little makeshift harness for this beluga whale, which beluga whales are very friendly and very sociable, so they're very easy to touch and to play around with. And maybe some fishermen or idiots wanted to see where this beluga whale went. They got a GoPro, they made a makeshift giant harness for him, and then they sent him off on his way. However, cameras are likely to fall off of harnesses, especially for a whale that's traveling the Baltic Sea. So, like my dog, when she wears her harness and we put a little light on her and she shakes it off, the camera probably fell off, but the harness was harder for poor Hvaldimir to take off. So now he's spotted swimming into Norway and believed to be a Russian spy. And I mean, there may be a theory where Hvaldimir is actually the author of the whole Nord Stream pipeline catastrophe. Maybe it was Hvaldimir, maybe it was him all along, and that was the whole purpose of him. But what's more likely is that this poor little whale was harassed by some idiot humans, then showed up in Norway. He's very friendly, so he's a tourist trap, and he's now plays around with tourists.
In the past year, Hvaldimir's situation has actually gone from bad to worse. As the news of his whereabouts spreads internationally in the media, everyone wants a moment with the friendly and magical beluga. We have filmed up to 300 tourists in one day visiting Hvaldimir, which is an unregulated tourism industry here in Norway.
And the most important thing, actually, is to just take care of this poor little guy. Because of their sociable nature, beluga whales are in more danger than other whales because they trust humans a little bit too much. And now that he's interacting with tourists back in Norway, well, One Whale, which is an organization for whales, want to make a little enclosure for him and just make sure that he's all right. Because right now, all he does is just beg for fish off of fishermen and delight tourists because he's goddamn adorable. But no, this is one of the most ridiculous pieces of propaganda coming out about this war and about the Russians, and we can just see with all of this how exaggerated and to what extent American media will go to try to blame stuff on Russia.
Okay, let's just go back and remember the Seymour Hersh story and the oil pipeline. They've given multiple propaganda stories about this thing. They would have been better off just saying it was this whale and the whale blew up the pipeline, because the stories they're giving today are implicating Ukraine and the US in blowing up the pipeline itself, which if you're having a non-NATO country blow up the infrastructure of a NATO country, well, why are you helping that non-NATO country? They should have went with the story, the whale blew up the pipeline, because it was far more believable. Anyway, that's all I got.
That would have been a bit easier. Well, for now, thank you for watching, and we hope you have a great rest of your day.
I'm Guy, and she's Nat. Goodbye.
This is where the first whale sanctuary should be, right here in Norway. It's all right here. It's just a matter of doing it.
Hvaldimir's situation is urgent. He's already been very seriously injured, and the next time he may not be so lucky. Hvaldimir could be killed by a boat propeller or found drowned in a fishing net, much like this friendly beluga whale who lived in Russia and was found dead on August 15th, 2020. I'm just worried that nobody will do anything in time, and I'm hoping that Norway will do something in time.